Work means a lot to me because I'm seeing other men and women get a chance to come home and live out their lives. I came home at the age of 28, but I'm meeting men and women now come home in their late 50s to early 60s. They have been robbed not only of their youth, but they've been robbed of a great deal of years in their lives.
I'm a directly impacted individual by way of my brother. My brother has been incarcerated for the past 23 and a half years. I found myself in this fight for over 15 to 20 years just by myself, reaching out to other organizations, but not finding organizations that worked with families or elevate the family to a level of advocacy. CFSY does that.
The campaign has been working since 2009 using a multi-pronged approach in state legislatures, supporting lawyers, representing these individuals in court and challenging these extreme sentences. And we've been working to build a coalition with a focus on unlikely allies as well as directly impacted individuals.
Before I became a member of the staff, I was a former life sentence child myself, having served 31 years before being released. When we talk about the indignities of incarceration, the trauma of incarceration, it's important for us to understand that it's not just the sentence that's excessive. It's the conditions of confinement that strips away at our dignity as human beings. We are capable and worthy of redemption. And just as you would like to be the recipient of such, you would like the same for your children, then like the same for me and the people who I represent.
When you listen to any of the stories of any of these, men or women, you find so much in learning about adversity in the human spirit that it really compels you to act.
It is because of ICANN and the work of the campaign and our close partners around the country that we've seen the reform that we've had. The U.S. Supreme Court has now stepped in 3 times to dramatically limit life without parole for children. 22 states and Washington, D.C. now ban life without parole for children, and that number was just 5 in 2012. There are more than 2,500 people were sentenced to life without parole as children. 1,700 of them have been resentenced, and more than 500 people condemned to die in prison as children, told they were worth nothing more than that, are now free.
This is a unique opportunity for organizations and private sector to take some type of leadership and ownership on the ills that have existed throughout the past few years that have led us to this place. There's a social stigma that's attached to those that are justice involved when they come home.
It's important for the private sector to partner with CFSY in this work because they can begin to tap into a untapped workforce. Again, we're speaking of men and women who went into the criminal justice system as children, and now they are adults home, adults who have never held jobs, adults who have not learned how to drive. So the corporate sector can make a great contribution and act morally in the sense that they are giving these individuals a first chance at life.
If we are not thinking about how to advocate for these children, it means there's a whole generation of workforce that's lost. One of those children could be sitting incarcerated. Instead of making a cure for cancer, they're spending time behind walls. There could be our next developer. There's so much talent with these young children, and then to take away their lives just doesn't make sense.
Help those organizations, particularly the Campaign for the Fair Sentencing of Youth, the Incarcerated Children's Advocacy Network, to realize our aim and our purpose, and to create a more fair, just, and balanced system of accountability for children who have committed harm.
Abdullah talked about being entitled to redemption, and I would take it one step further and say they're entitled to prosperity. And there are real barriers. But the good news is every single person can help be part of the solution.